Hey everyone, it is Devon from the Maniology team with our weekly live every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. You can find us here on another nail stamping journey. Whether it's a tutorial technique or hack, we're here to discuss the details and we're so happy you could join. Also, we know you never want to miss a Maniology live, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you love our videos. Remember to share our content with your friends and feel free to leave a comment with suggestions for future content. All right, let's get into the live. This week we are going to be discussing our soft gel tips. I am so excited to talk about this with all of you. I have been wearing it for a couple of months now and I am so in love. Oh my God, Tiana. Hey, also Tiana's helping on the live, everyone. I am trying a new shape because we have the tips. So I decided to give it a go and try a different shape. This is really different for me. I don't think I've ever worn coffin before. This is my very first time. I also do not wear a lot of color, and here we are in full color trying something really fun because I just wanted to try another shape for our nail tips. I have been using the medium almond, but yeah, I don't know, I thought I'd do something different. So coffin is a favorite shape. I'm so happy that you love coffin because we have 5 different shapes in our soft gel tips, which I will show you the different shapes. I think I'm missing one shape. I'm surprised that I'm missing one shape because I thought I had all of them, but I'm missing one shape. And yeah, the coffin, I don't know, I just feel so like, I can't say the word, but it's like, who's that bee vibes? Like, it makes me want to do that like Lizzo talking meme. I don't know if you guys saw, like Lizzo had this funny little gif where she's like talking with her nails. And it's like when you get a fresh set, you just feel so like extra. And I'm feeling very extra with this length. It's a lot. It's a lot. I can't wait to see how I handle this working out, cleaning, cooking, going to the beach, because I am very active with my hands. So yeah. Okay. Where do we even begin? Because there's so much to cover. I am so excited. Let's first talk about the fact that these are soft gel tips. What does that mean? It means that it's made out of gel. It's not out of plastic. Let me explain here. I think I have, okay, this is like old school days. So back in the day, all of the tips, let me show you, were made out of plastic. So when you go to the salon, they'd like use, this is a full cover tip, which is the same as ours, but they'd use tips that are like plastic and you just put it on the tip of the nail. And that's how we did tips back in the day. These tips, these plastic ones, usually they're not as thin, and they just aren't, I don't know how to explain it, but they're just not as fun. Also, the soak off with the plastic tip is a little bit harder versus when you use the soak off gel tips. So these are soft gel, and soft gel is dissolvable by acetone. I will show you how to take these off later in the live, but I think we can just start discussing our tips. So inside you get a pack of tips, and this is, I want to say this is a brand new one, so let me count. Okay, 1, 2, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so you get 10 of these, and one of these, here, let me just show you. Okay, there are, I want to say, 15 sizes. There are 15 sizes, and then there are 10 of these like sets inside one package. So when you are looking for your tip shape, one thing to note is you're always going to look for the number The number is the tip part, and then this is obviously the base. It doesn't seem like, it seems silly for me to mention that now, but if you got a shape like Squoval, for example, here, these are my Squoval nails. I used them, oops. So these are Squoval nails. So if I use the Squoval, it's kind of hard to tell what the tip and the base is. So the tip is always going to have the little number underneath. That's how you know that should be facing up. And then the different shapes that we have are, this is a medium oval or medium almond. This is our short Squoval. And then let me show you our medium coffin. Oh, our medium coffin is what I'm wearing now, but I'm going to show you anyways. And then let me show you our short coffin. So originally I was going to go with short coffin. That was like the first idea that I had, but I decided to go for the full drama and we did medium coffin. So these are the different lengths, and I'm going to put them on so that way you can see like how they compare in size and length. But something that I want to note about these tips, I have tried the famous brand. I'm not going to talk about who they are. If you all know, I know you guys know what I'm talking about when I say the famous soft gel tips. No, I'm not trying to bash on them. I just want to put that out there. But Maniology's tips are they are my favorite. I've tried a lot of different soft gel tips. And before, I used to also like sculpt my own nails with like acrylic, and I've also sculpted with soft gel. That's a whole thing. But out of all the options of extensions that I have done over the past, 10, 12 years, almost, I want to say like 13 years actually, these are by far my absolute favorite. And the reason for that is I actually have really small nail beds. I don't know if you guys can tell. I feel like it's kind of hard to notice that on camera, but my nail beds are really small. And something that I constantly struggled with was finding tips that actually fit my nail size. My nails were usually in between sizes, or it was just like the nail tip would either be too wide at the base or it was almost too long for me because my natural nail bed is about this big. It's very small. On this hand, you can see my nail is growing underneath, so I have really long natural nails, and I still like to put tips over. And then that's why a lot of times when you see my nails, they're like long like this. But the actual bed is so short. It's very little. And because of that, when I would try other brands, their short version would look like a medium on me. So sometimes I'd want something that was more like this, you know, this length. But part of the reason I never did coffin was because the shortest coffin that I could find at the time were longer than this. And if you look at my underneath my nails, you can see that it's actually long. Like this medium is perfect for me. Perfect length. Yeah. And I've always struggled with finding like the right size because I'm like a weird in-between size, and I'm also my nail beds are kind of small. So when we came out with these, I was so excited, and then I started testing it and I fell instantly in love. So I cannot wait for you all to try it because you will feel fabulous. And then also it makes doing nails so much easier. So I think I saw something about Grandma Mimsy having a question. I hope if I didn't get your question right now, like, please forgive me. This is gonna be a long live. We have lots and lots to talk about. So yeah, it's a whole thing. Also, oh, Grandma Mimsy, we're sending you good vibes. I'm not sure what's going on, but I hope everything is okay. But for those of you who are here, and we are going to be discussing this. So look at this. When you take a look at the tips, you'll notice it goes from like small to big. But right around here, we have some extra small sizes, and here we have half sizes. These 3 half sizes are amazing for those of you who are in between size like me. So normally it would just be from here to here. This would be the sizing, but these little extra half sizes are great. And I notice that I am usually a half size. So what are soft gel tips? Soft gel tips are, again, made out of gel. Soak off soft gel, which is dissolvable by acetone. If you need larger sizes, you can check out these over here. These fit thumbs, and my nail beds are tiny, but Tiana, I feel like Tiana has nail beds that are more to the normal size adult. I just have like abnormally small nail beds, but Tiana's nail beds are, I would say, a more normal size or good representation of an average size nail bed. And she can fit the 1 for her thumbs. So for those of you who have bigger nail beds, you might be like a 0 for your thumb. But you'll find that these sizes are actually very nice, and there's quite a wide range. Even when I've, again, used other brand of extension tips, a lot of times they only give you like 10 sizes or 11 sizes. So the fact that there's, we said 15, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 sizes is very generous in comparison to a lot of other companies that only do maybe like 10 sizes in a box or 11 sizes. So you guys are going to have so much fun with that. Now I'm sure we want to get on to the demonstration because I know you guys are interested in that. I mean, that's what everyone's here for, right? Can you file them to make a round or oval shape? Yes, you can file them if you'd like. These are definitely all, like, you can use nail clippers, you can file them, you can do all kinds of things like that. So you can just treat them like you would with your nails for the most part, like when it comes to the shaping. And now let's move these out of the way, and I'm going to show you how to prep for getting your nail beds ready. So right now I have nothing on my nails, and when you do this, if you want to do this properly, you're going to want to go ahead and push your cuticles back and do the whole cuticle care thing. If you are, you know, in a rush, it'll be okay. You don't have to do that. But I went ahead of time and I pushed my cuticles back so that way I don't have any like trigium, that like clear skin that kind of grows over here on my nail beds. I know I've met children who've had larger nail beds than me, but we'll save that for another discussion. Then you're going to want to go ahead and grab a file. So I am using Maniology's file. This came inside a Mani by Me box, I think last spring. This file has a lower grit, so I want to say it's 180 grit. We do not want to use, I'm going to just show you this. Okay, we don't want to use a file like this. This is too, the grit is too high. So the higher the grit, the finer it's going to be. So this is 220 to 280. This is way too fine. This is just going to smooth out my nail and smooth out any ridges. I don't want to use something like this. These emery boards are, again, a lower grit, which means that it's going to cause more like, it's going to take off more when you're shaping your nails, but then also when we file over my nail bed like this, we're just going to be lightly scuffing up the nail bed. This is not going to thin out your nails. For those of you who are worried or concerned, doing this isn't going to ruin your nail beds. Your nails will be okay. We're not trying to like remove a whole layer of your nail bed. We're just trying to gently rough it up. And part of the reason we need to rough it up is because we have to give our adhesive something to hold on to. And then you're going to go ahead and do the same. So look at my nail now. You see how it has like that shine? That's what we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to get rid of all the shine in the nail. That shine, a lot of it is just oils in our natural nails, and we need to gently remove that. So again, doing this is not going to hurt it. These files, even for the fact that they're like 180, they are not so intense as some of like the professional files that are 180. Those can be really rough, and they can cause like, you have to be very gentle because they can definitely cause thinning in your natural nail if you do it too much and you go too hard. So for those of you who are like, why don't we skip this step, and why do we have to buff it? Because if you skip this step, basically what's happening is a slick surface doesn't give something to adhere to. Enhancements, glue, all of that stuff, it needs a little bit of texture, and it also needs a clean surface that's not oily. So when we do this, we're removing the oils and we're just gently roughing the surface. If the nail is too smooth and too clean, it's going to be very difficult for the enhancement to adhere and for like glue or the adhesive to adhere. So we want to just get rid of all of that shine. So right now you can see that I've gotten rid of the shine. My nails have very little scratches in it, but it's not like, again, we're not taking off a whole layer. I'm just gonna go in and try and get this little area. And again, these files are very gentle, so don't worry. Now you're gonna go ahead and grab a little a lint-free pad and put some alcohol on it and just wipe away the dust. Try and get all of it out if possible. And now that is what our surface looks like. Can you tell that there isn't really a shine? Like before we saw a reflection in my nail, and now you can't really see that reflection, like the nails look mattified. So that's what we're looking for. We want that mattified effect before we put our tips on. Now let's talk about sizing and shapes, because I'm sure you guys want to see that. And I'm going to just go ahead and look for the right size for my nails. Okay. So this is too big for my nail. I think I'm an 8.5 for my index. Yeah, this is perfect. So you're not looking for something that has like, you don't want it to hang over. You'd prefer if it is a slightly smaller fit. Also, something to mention, when you apply nail polish on this, it causes it to slightly expand just a little bit. We haven't seen this issue with gel polish, but specifically with nail polish, and I think because it has nail polish, I don't know how to explain this in a good way. It's okay. We're not going to get into the science of it. Just know that when you apply nail polish, it causes the nail tip to expand by maybe 1 millimeter, maybe a little bit less. So if you are trying to figure out what size and you're in between sizes, say you're like, oh, the 8 fits, I would still recommend going a size down, or a half size down. So if you can, go for the 8.5 instead of trying to do like a size 7, for example. even though the 7 does look like it could fit, if you're going to put polish on this, this is going to expand a little bit, and then all of a sudden your size 7 might feel more like a size 6. And this is way too big. So this is very, very large. So I think going for a size that's slightly smaller, like maybe one size down, would be better. For me, my perfect fit is 8.5. And you can see how long that is because you can see my free edge right underneath. So as you can see, it's a good size. For short, I think this is perfect. It's very hard to find short coffin, by the way. Because coffin needs to be tapered and you can't really get that when the nail is so short, it can be very difficult. And short coffin can also look really strange when it's not done right. But I think these ones are done beautifully. I've seen other brands that do short coffin and then it makes the base so like wide and fat, and it just makes the nails look really odd. So these I think are very, very nice happy medium. They're short, but they still give you that coffin look. And then this is our medium. So you can see there how much longer it is. It's literally almost double the size of my nail bed. And that's the 8.5. And then let me show you on our swivel what that looks like. This is 8.5. So if you prefer square nails, then this would probably be a good way to go. You could get the swivel and then just file it so that way it's more square shaped. And you can see how long that is. And now let's do our almond shape, which is the shape that I have consistently been wearing. And this is the 8.5 on me. So you can see how this like lines up with my cuticle line. It's perfect. It's an even fit. Nothing's hanging over. It's not extending underneath my cuticle line. It perfectly matches. I don't need to push down in order to get it to fit. That's the other thing I want to say. Like, for example, this is 8.5. If I went with a 9, you don't want this to happen. You see this? It should go from edge to edge. There shouldn't be any of that excess space like how there is there. That means that the tip is too small. And you don't want to use a small tip. And you also don't want to have to push down to get the tip to stay. So, for example, okay, this is a size 10 tip. It's clearly too small, but it's curved. So when I lay it on the nail, let me see. If I just naturally lay it on the nail, it sticks up like this because it's too small and the curve is not right for my nail. So you're going to want to, you would have to push down to try to make it fit. If you're pushing down and you're using sticky tabs for this, it's going to pop off. Like, it's just not going to stay. So that's part of the reason why finding your perfect fit is so important. So again, you're looking for that edge-to-edge coverage. And then something else I wanted to mention about this. If you are using a larger size, or I guess if you have really curved nails, because I saw someone mentioned that they had very curved natural nails, you're going to want to take your tip, and you might have to size up for this. So like I'm an 8.5, I'm going with a 8 right now. And if I had really curved nail beds, because as you can see, mine's is on the flatter side, you're just going to want to gently squeeze it like this, very gently. Don't overdo it. And then now, for those of you with extremely curved nails, it'll fit better. So you can see now, like, it has a little bit more of a curve. I don't know if you can tell, but when I'm putting it on my nail, it kind of curves up a little bit more than the other 8. Here, let me show you what the other 8 looks like. So this is, okay, hold on. Okay. So can you see the difference? These are both 8s. Can you see how one is much more curved and the other one is not? Yes, I just used the heat of my hand, but also these tips are so thin that they don't require much for you to just like kind of bend them and mold them. That's part of the reason why I love them. Versus our other plastic tip that I showed you, it was a lot thicker. So all you have to do, for those of you with really curved natural nails, just go ahead and do that a little bit. And you'll notice it totally does change the shape. So that way it works for your nail bed. A lot of curve each way. What do you, for the person who said that they have, will these tips work for someone who has a lot of curve each way? What do you mean by that? Can you please elaborate a little bit more? If the nail is curved, I feel like you could just squeeze the tips and then it should match the curve of your nail a little better. But maybe I'm not catching something. If so, just explain more in the comments. So now that I have shown you all the different sizes, let's go back and go to my perfect fit, which is 8.5. I think they mean if the tip curves down. Oh, if the tip of your nail curves down, I would try to cut the nail as short as possible. That way it helps to stop any kind of like gaps or anything weird like that. Because if the tip is curling down, what will happen usually is that there's going to be, like, if the tip's going down this way, there's going to be a gap here. So if you can cut the nail shorter, that'll help to eliminate that big space and gap. And then the curling down won't be as much of an issue. Yes, cut the natural nail shorter so that way there won't be as large of a gap when you apply the tip. For those of you who are asking about gel with these, I'm not going to get into it, but yes, that famous brand that we were talking about does work with these tips. That's what I've got going on this hand here. Because again, a lot of times with my tips, or my nails, I need them to be like strong. I do so much in a day. But let's go back to our nail tip. For those of you who are asking, can you paint these tips before you put them on? Yes, you can. The reason why I'm not doing that for you today is because I have to finish out this set later. And also I wanted to show you what it looks like when I put them on so you can see on the nail what we're looking for. What famous brand? It's a French name. I don't even know what word could sound like it. Usually we'd be like, we'd say some silly word that kind of sounds like that. Well, it's a French brand. That's the one that everyone uses. But I've used the gel with our tips and it works beautifully. So for those of you who are curious about that it does work because again, these are soft gel. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to say about this is now that we are going to apply my tip, I found my perfect size, which is 8.5. As you can see, when you look at the side of my nail, it is completely covered. Yes, the brand that starts with an A. That's the brand we're talking about. But I found my perfect size and it's covered from sidewall to sidewall. That is what we want. Now let's go and look for my thumb size. I want to say I am a size 6 for my thumb or my middle finger. Wait, this is, whoops. I think I'm going to go with size 7. Something you also might notice is that your right hand, or whatever your dominant hand is, might be smaller than your non-dominant. So keep that in mind. Because I think on this hand, I'm a size 6. But on this hand, I think I'm a size 7. Since this is my non-dominant. And you can see we've got edge-to-edge coverage. That's perfect. Okay. So now that you found your perfect tip size, and we've already buffed our nails, wiped away all of the little dust and everything like that, I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it again. Because now I've touched a bunch of things, I've touched my nails, and we don't want any oil or any dust on our fingers. Then you're going to go ahead and grab your sticky tabs, and we're going to find our perfect size. So when you look at the sticky tabs, it has a clear protective coating. So you're probably going to be like, wait, how do I get into this? So we have a clear protective coating over this to ensure that dust does not get on it. You do not want dust to get on these at all. So make sure that once you pull it back, you grab exactly what you need and then close it back up. And another thing is, if you don't want to like remove the dust or remove the plastic covering, you can just go ahead and size on your nails now before you grab your sticky tab, so that way you know exactly what size you need. Okay, so I'm gonna, I think I am this size for my index, and then let's see what I am for my middle. I think I'm this larger size for my middle. So for this, you want to grab as close to your size as possible. So I'm just going to peel the plastic back. So you're going to want to peel the soft plastic. Don't try to peel the hard plastic. And then I said I think I'm this size. And then that size for my index. Okay, so look at this. There's a tiny little tab here. You see this? You're just going to want to pull this tab off. There's a protective coating on it. And then you're going to want to gently lay this as close to the cuticle as you can. So can you see it? Then you're just going to press down on the cuticle area only. So I'm just gently pushing the adhesive tab. Okay, there are cuts on this plastic, on the plastic film coating. Can you see these here? The reason there are cuts here is so that way you can pull it and stretch the tab just a little bit. So when you do this, make sure to grab the tip and gently, this is gonna be kind of hard to do on camera, gently pull it. There, I kind of pulled it so that way it goes closer to your tip. And then you're gonna just push down. And again, we still have our little plastic coating you can see here. And then you're just gonna remove the tab like that. So even though it didn't cover my tip completely, it's okay. It'll still work. Now let's do that again for my middle finger. So I think I said this size. So Something I've noticed when working with these, oh, where's the plastic covering? Me getting all, does the sticky tab add thickness to the nail? Will the gel nails look like they're kind of hovering over the nail? It doesn't add thickness to the nail, and you'll see when I apply it. I think here, this is the one that I'm grabbing. Shh, George. Also, you don't want to apply it like this because if you do, it's going to be really hard to pull the tab. So go ahead and just apply it so that way it's towards the cuticle area. First, secure the cuticle area by just gently pushing down like this. Sorry, everyone. I don't mean to give you the middle finger, if that's what we're giggling at. George is very talkative today. So as you can see, we kind of pushed down the cuticle area. And now we're going to grab the tab again and pull it to stretch it. So you see how I'm stretching it? You can see that the plastic is being pulled and it kind of creates a weird little pucker. Yes, it will help to thin out the tab, but the tabs are really your dogs are barking in solidarity. That's hilarious. The tabs are really thin. They're not that thick. And I can show you after this what that looks like. Something else we've noticed about stretching the sticky tab, I feel like it gives it a better, like it lasts longer when the sticky tab is stretched. And I'll talk about wear time in a little bit, so don't worry, I didn't forget about that. We're gonna cover everything, A to Z today. So now I have my two sticky tabs on my middle finger and my index finger. First, I'm gonna just take my index and I'm gonna show you, this is a short way to wear this. So if you're going to an event, for example, and you don't want to have long nails and you're just going for like a night out, where this way that I'm applying it, these can be, again, these are Soak Off soft gel tips, so you can use them with other soft gel products. For those of you who are asking, can you just use builder gel to attach it? No, builder gel will not attach Soak Off soft gel tips. Not properly. It's gonna end up coming off later. So you're gonna need a specific type of gel that is marketed towards that, but I won't get into that now. So then I'm just gonna go ahead and press my tip, line it up as closely to my cuticle line as possible, make sure it's straight, and then hold it for about 30 seconds. I'm pushing down very firmly. Are you guys counting for me? So as you can see, I'm pushing down so firmly that my finger is like turning white. I'm just gonna like squeeze the sides of the nail too to make sure that it adheres to the sides. A gel base under regular polish. Yes, you can use gel base under regular polish because you can't do it in reverse. For those of you who are like, can I use regular polish base and then gel over? No, you can't, but you can do it the other way. It has to do with like a chemical thing and then like your nails curving. Like, not that your nails, it's complex. Just, in short, just leave it at that. Gel under, polish over is okay. Just like acrylic under, polish over is okay. So there we go. I applied the nail tip. So as you can see, there is a little bit of bubbling here. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Now look at this. I am like shaking it. And it is on. Also, something I noticed, the longer these, well, I guess there's like a max out point, but the sticky tabs like turn into glue somehow. I mean, there'll still be a tab, but I feel like the adhesion gets stronger over the first couple of hours. So if you first put it on, just make sure you let it be. Don't immediately start like touching water and all that other stuff, or like going swimming with them. Give it a couple of hours before you start like doing stuff, because I noticed that if you do, it will last longer. And again, I will get into like the wear time of all of this stuff soon. Okay, so the second technique that I'm going to show you how to apply is using nail glue. So this is if you're trying to wear it for like two to 3 days. My coworker had 2 to 3 days like wear time using nail glue. But something to mention, not all nail glue is created equally. I'm going to be honest, my favorite brand is IBD. They have a brush-on nail glue. I recommend using that if you have to wear these for a little bit longer. I'm using Kiss because that's what I could quickly get my hands on. And you're going to go ahead and just apply some nail glue to the tip. And remember, our sticky tab is still down. So instead of the nail glue getting stuck to our nail, it's going to stick to our sticky tab. So I'm going to go ahead and start at the cuticle. Always start at the cuticle. And then press down. And I usually like to have my finger facing a downward motion because, for example, if you're using gel or you're using nail glue like how I am today, the liquid is going to flow downwards instead of up towards your cuticle. So have your finger face down when you are trying to like get the liquid to flow. For those of you that are asking about the removal process, I'm going to show you in a little bit, but I first wanted to show you guys what the application process is like. So you're just going to hold this for about 30 seconds or maybe even a little bit longer. No, you absolutely need to use acetone remover, or like 100% acetone will be effective for removing this, especially if you have, you're using nail glue. If you're not using nail glue, you can use warm water, or you can even use cuticle oil, and that should be sufficient to remove the tips. And you can also reuse it. So I'll get into all of that. There's so much to cover. I have so many things to tell you. That's correct. You don't need to use a lot of glue. Oh, I think I got a little stuck. So for the nail glue, I'm just holding it longer just to make sure that everything is setting in the right place. Okay. And it looks like it has. Check that out. So you see how we have a little bit of seepage down here? It's at my free edge. That's the nail glue that seeped out. That's okay because I rather have the seepage there than at my cuticle. So I just went ahead and held it in place for about 30 seconds, a little longer, maybe a minute. For those of you who are asking, can I reuse the tip? For example, if you put regular polish on this and then you wipe it off, the tip is going to change color a little bit. It's going to look a little funky, and I'll show you what that looks like here. So if you take alcohol, or I don't know, here, hold on. You see what happens here? So I just sprayed like alcohol on it, and it caused the tip to like act weird like that. Because again, this is a soft gel tip. So it is like alcohol and acetone. It's sensitive, a little bit more sensitive to that. And I actually have a little pot of acetone here. I'm going to stick this tip in there because I want to show you guys that these are definitely soak-off style tips. So reusing them, you can reuse the tips. Oh, whoops. You can reuse the tips, but I would only reuse them if I'm using these sticky tabs. If I'm using the nail glue with the sticky tab, I'm probably not going to want to reuse it. And I'll show you what happens when we remove this. So let me move this out of the way. That's just going to be a little experiment that we have going on. And now let me explain what you do with the rest of these before I get into the removal process. So let's say that this size is way too big for you. It's not going to fit anything. You have all these like weird sizes, or maybe you have like a pinky that's bigger than this. You're not going to need that, whatever the case is. So if you have extra sizes of sticky tabs and tips that you're not going to use, guess what you can use them for? Let me show you. Also, let's take a look at how thin this sticky tab is. It is so thin. You're going to be fine. For those of you who are wondering about gapping and all that stuff, it'll be okay. These are ultra thin. And if you do get a little gappy, like how I am here on the cuticle and at the tip of the nail, it's fine. It'll be okay. So I just went ahead and applied the sticky tab here. And now I'm just gonna do that. And, oh, okay, wait, I struggled with this the last time. Hold on, let me grab tweezers. To remove the adhesive is pretty strong on these sticky tabs. I've tried other sticky tabs as well, and these ones are really nice. I easily got a couple days wear with my sticky tabs. Granted, it was on my non-dominant hand and non-dominant fingers, so I feel like it'd be different if it was on my dominant hand and fingers. So then you're just going to go ahead and apply the sticky tab to the nail tip stand. And this is exactly what you could do for sizes that you maybe can't fit. And now I know I can't fit this size, so I'm going to just go ahead and stick it here. And now you can use this as a practice tip. If you're trying to test out a nail art idea, or you just have all these extras and leftovers, you can just leave it there and use it for later to play with or test out an idea or design. And that's how you use the excess sizes. Oh, Grandma Mimsy, I hope everything is okay, and we're sending you all the love, and we hope that you come back soon. So now, like, look at this. This thing is on. It's really on here now. So you can use this again to practice designs, do whatever you need to. Yeah, that's what you do with the leftover sizes. Now, let's go back to this and take a look. What's happening here? The tip is slowly dissolving. That is what's happening here. Do you see that? I don't want to, like, I kind of want to touch it, but I also kind of don't. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just smudged it. And look at that. It just, like, you see how I touched it here, and then the plastic, or sorry, the soft gel is literally just being squished off. Let me try with this thing to show you. Whoops. Oh yeah. So you can scrape this off just like gel. Because again, it's soft gel. So it is dissolvable in acetone. I know, it looks like a strange French tip, right? And that's what happens when you leave the soft tip in, or the soft gel tip in acetone. It just gets all gross. It gets gross and it gets dissolved. Whoops. Uh-oh. Well. And then also, this is part of the reason why, for those of you who are like, hey, can I wipe off the polish on this tip and then just paint it a different color? You can try it, but as soon as I put that tip with a little acetone, it gets kind of weird. So not that you'd be dunking your tips in acetone, but you know, that's just something to note. The color might change. The texture might change. Oh my gosh, it literally just broke off. What? Look at that. It like, yeah. It's full on breaking down right now because it is a soft gel tip. Oh, it's so easy to like break. Which is great because if you glue this onto your finger, then you don't need to worry about like struggling to remove it. This will come off pretty easily. So I'm going to just throw that away because now we all know it definitely can be soaked off in acetone. So if you need to get it off your finger, that'll be the way to do it. Now, to get this off, obviously the hold on this is a lot stronger. Look at this. Like, she is not going anywhere. This one, if I apply enough pressure, you can see that the tip does move. So yes, it's not like the strongest hold. It's not nail glue, and it's not gel, and it's not acrylic. So yes, it is. The sticky tabs are a lot more temporary, and that's what they're designed for, because a lot of you have expressed that maybe you don't want to have long nails all the time, but there are some times that you do, and there are some times that you just want to switch out your manicures weekly or bi-weekly, whatever the case is. This is what this is for. So that's what these sticky tabs are for. They're to allow you to be able to quickly change out your sets. So as you can see, it does wiggle, it does move, but it's also pretty strong. Like, you know, if I was furiously typing on the computer, it'll stay. Also, I tried an experiment, and last week Friday, I used a sticky tab for, this is a new set, so this is different. For those of you asking about using nail glue directly onto the tip and then soaking off, yes, you can do that. And it'll still have minimal damage to the nail. I don't think it should have any damage. The only area that like could cause damage is if you're scraping the nail to like get the glue off, but at that point you could just gently buff it off with a buffer. So I wouldn't worry about like the damage to the nail. If you are going to soak off, what I recommend is having a piece of foil. Let me see if I have one right here. Give me one sec. So the way that you'd want to treat the removal process, okay. The way you'd want to treat the removal process, if you're going to glue it onto your natural nails and not use a sticky tab, grab a piece of foil, fold up this edge so that way you don't get cut, and then put a cotton soaked in acetone, and whoops, okay, hold on. Fold it up and then over. Sorry, this is like a very messy, quick way that I'm showing you. So do something like that. So that way it is like have it has a tighter seal. It's not so air can't easily flow into it. And then you'll start to notice that you'll feel the cotton in there warm up. And you have to use acetone. Do not try and use like a nail polish remover that has no acetone, or a nail polish remover that has like oils in it or something like that. 100% acetone is the best to get this off. If you try to use the other stuff, you're going to be there forever. So just use 100% acetone. You can find it at any drugstore for like $2 or $3. It's really cheap. So you're just going to use a cotton with acetone and then a little piece of foil like this and just wrap it up. It'll probably take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to completely soak it off. And then you can just take it off and buff away the extra, you know, little glue or whatever bits that are on the nails. So that's how you're going to do it if you glue the nail on directly to your natural nail. However, I think you could just apply the tip like usual and just use the glue on that. And then that way you don't have to worry about the hassle of like struggling to get it off. It'll be a lot easier to get off this way. Also, I mean, it is on there, like, and I'm going to test it more. Eventually, we are probably going to do a second part to this live because, again, there's a lot to cover. So we probably will eventually do a second part, and I can tell you guys what my experience was wearing it with the glue like this. Yes, there are tons of videos on how to remove gel extensions, how to remove soak-off gel nails. That's basically what this is. So for this method, though, if you are curious about that, you can go ahead and apply cuticle oil, or you can soak your finger in warm water for about a couple of minutes, I want to say. Soaking your finger in warm water will help loosen the bond here. Or if you use cuticle oil, which I'm going to just put, so I put the cuticle oil underneath the nail tip because I have a gap there. And I'm just going to let that thing go and do its thing for a couple of minutes. Already, I feel like it's slowly loosening the bond. Yes, give your nails a little bath. Yes, you can either give your nails a little bath, or if you're in a rush, you can just use the cuticle oil method. And it'll slowly start to loosen the bond. I recommend putting the cuticle oil underneath the tip. And if you do this method, you can reuse these tips, and I'll show you why. So yeah, you see how the glue's really getting in there? Or the oil is really getting in there? You can even see like there's little oil bubbles down below. Ew. Okay, so then you're gonna take an orange wood stick. Do this gently. Do not go ahead and like jab. Again, gently go around the perimeter of the nail. We're not just gonna stick it right down the center of the nail. Go along the perimeter and gently lift it. And it's easier if you start from the tip. And again, gently. I'm not trying to force this. Also, the more you do that, the more the oil gets to the center of the tab, and it's going to be a lot quicker to remove. And if you feel that you're like still getting stuck in the same place, go ahead and just add a little bit more cuticle oil. So the good thing about this process is you're moisturizing your nails and you are removing the tip at the same time. So and there we go. It just popped off, no problem. Okay, Now let me kind of wipe the inside of the tip. Sorry, it's got cuticle oil all over it now. But look at that. It's clean on the inside of the tip. There's no glue. There's no residue, which means if I had applied regular polish over this and stuff like that, and I did a really nice design that I really like and I want to save it for later, you would be able to do that with this. If you have a glue debonder, that could be cool. You guys could try that out and let me know how that method goes. This is just a very simple, easy at-home method that I assume a lot of you guys have cuticle oil. And if you don't have cuticle oil, you probably have like cooking oil. You could do the same thing. Just don't use like one that's been infused with herbs or something. You might just want to use like a olive oil or peanut oil, whatever kind of oil that you have at home. Right, Carrie? I know the idea of the tips being temporary is so exciting. So here's something to note. When I was using these nail tips, I wore them for a couple of days. So let me explain. Last week, Friday, I was wearing a different set. Actually, not last week, Friday. The week before last week, Friday. So yeah, I don't know. The week before last week, Friday. The Friday before last Friday. Sorry. My brain. Okay, the Friday before last Friday. I applied sticky tabs to my pinky and also my middle finger because I was wearing an old set and it popped off and I didn't have time to change my nails. So I used the sticky tabs on these two fingers. Granted, this is my non-dominant hand, and these fingers are non-dominant fingers. Most people use these fingers to like grab stuff and pick stuff. So these were my non-dominant. That thing stayed on for a week. This one in particular stayed on for one whole week. I washed my hair, I worked out, I cooked, I did the dishes. I try to cook, like my husband and I cook almost every day. So also doing dishes, that means like every day. So I got it on. Now, had I been messing with it and like trying to grab stuff, yeah, that probably would have popped off. But, you know, just doing things normally didn't cause it to pop off. And Hawaii has high humidity. So for the fact that it didn't pop off for a week was amazing. Yes, I didn't even use like nail glue. I just used the sticky tab on here and here. My middle finger popped off more frequently. I think it popped off at like the 2 or 3 day mark. And then I just applied another sticky tab and let it go because I didn't have time to really do my set until like last night. So yeah, I didn't have any issues with it. Again, if you are going to be soaking your hands in a lot of water and doing all of that kind of stuff, I recommend wearing gloves if you're trying to prolong it and make it last a little longer. But just something to note that, you know, it might be better for you to use the glue method if you're trying to keep it for like several days, like a week or, you know, however long. Again, my Corker said she got 2 to 3 days wear for her nails using the glue method, but I'm curious to see because this is going to be my first time using the nail glue method with the tab. And for those of you who are wondering, why do I apply the tab first and then the nail glue? It's so that way the nail glue just doesn't adhere to your natural nails, so that way it makes the removal process even easier. Because something to note here, you see how the sticky tab is stuck to my nail? It's because of the adhesive on the sticky tab and the fact that we pre-buffed my nail, so it gives it something to hold on to. Now, in all of my experiences wearing the nail tips on my nails with the sticky tabs, every single time the nail tip popped off, it was clean like this, and then the sticky tab was stuck to my nail, which lets me know that I did a good job at prepping my nail because the sticky tab is still on. And then also it means that because these nail tips are smooth inside, they are pre-etched, for those of you who understand like how that applies for gel products. It's supposed to make it easier for application for gel products, but I still like to etch. That's, again, a whole nother thing. But in terms of this, it was just a clean pop-off. So that's part of the reason why using the nail glue, if you're trying to get extended wear, works well for this technique, because it's not an issue of the tab sticking to your nail. It's an issue of the tab sticking to the fake nail. And yeah, that's kind of the best way I can explain it. So if you have glue on your nail, like, or the adhesive on your nail, like how I do, I just like peel it off. Or you could soak it in water and just try to like get it off. But right now, since I'm with all of you and I don't have access to water, I am going to just use my little orange wood stick to kind of gently get the tab off. And again, this is not going to hurt your natural nails, for all of you who are asking. Yes, those of you who wear gloves for doing dishes and cleaning, that is awesome. That is the way to go. Okay, well, it's really on my nail right now because, and it doesn't help that everything I'm touching, my hands are so oily. And if you struggle like me, because now my hands are oily, you can go ahead and use acetone. So I'm just going to use some acetone. I think you can even use alcohol to wipe this off. Oh yeah, that's coming off a lot better. Yep, you just use a little bit of acetone and it'll come off. You see, it's like, I feel like the tab turns into glue. So yeah, today is a big science day for the nail nerds. It is. There's a lot. There's a lot to cover for this. Oh, there. Oh, whoops. I should have just used my hand. Okay, so this is what, this looks gross now, but this is basically what the sticky tab is. It like melted into some kind of, again, a glue. It basically turns into like a rubber cement kind of situation. And then I still have some extra on my nail, so I'm just gonna wipe that away. There we go. My nail is, whoops, clean and damage free. And now I'm ready to switch it out or do whatever I want. You can reuse your tip however you want to do it. I have tips that I wanted to like save and reuse for later, especially for designs that I like spent a lot of time on. This is perfect for me. So now that we kind of covered, I don't know, I feel like we covered everything because I talked about wear time. Again, wear time for sticky tabs, probably a day to 2 days. It just depends how you live and what your prep situation is like. But I would say if you're like being really intense, probably like a day. If you are trying to go for something longer, this would probably be your best bet. Apply the glue after you apply your sticky tab and just hold your nail for like 30 seconds to a minute so that way it gets complete contact surface. When you do complete contact surface, it helps eliminate any chances of it lifting. So as you can see here, there are no bubbles. It is really on there. Hey T, have we missed any questions? Are there things you guys you want? Are there things you guys you want? Are there? Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to know about these nail tips that I did not cover in this live? Okay, good. Words are hard sometimes. Yeah, they are. They're very hard, especially thinking about all of this. Adhesive tabs back in the website. Okay, so y'all got so excited about the tips that the adhesive tabs sold out almost instantly, and we don't have them. right now, but they will be back in stock soon. And if you're curious to know exactly when, sign up for the notification for the restock. That way you get an immediate email as soon as it is restocked. You don't want to miss it because these nail tips and the sticky tabs have been such a hot topic. We've been seeing a million questions come through on Instagram, Facebook, emails, DMs. So many people have so many questions and want to know so much about our tips. So if you love it and there's something that you like, whether it's a certain size or a certain sticky tab or whatever, make sure you grab it. If it's not available, make sure you sign up for the restock notification so that way you get notified, because let me tell you, you are not the first person who is asking about when it's going to be restocked. FYI. Yeah, is there anything else you all had? Any other questions? T said that she thinks we're all covered. It seems like you guys had a lot of questions that you helped each other answer, and I'm very thankful to have my A team here. Well, I think that's it for our live today. It seems like everyone is good. No other questions. Well, anyways, thank you all so much for joining this very, very long live. You guys were really patient. We had a lot to discuss, and I'm so happy that I had the chance to talk to all of you about the nail tips because I am so insanely enthusiastic about them. Please try them out if you get a chance because I love them and I think you're gonna love them too. My other coworkers have tried them and they are super into it. One of my coworkers who doesn't even do nails, she like started doing it and she's like, oh my God, this is so fun. Alrighty, everyone. We'll have a good week. We will see you next week, and I hope that your day is amazing. I'll talk to you later. Bye.